PC fam, what's going on? Happy Saturday. This is another episode of Chill with Chill. Both fortunately and unfortunately, as we talked about before, it's bittersweet, but we are at the point of the season where we don't have an NBA game every single day. So we don't got a game to talk about last night in the NBA. But chill, it's the W. So let's start off the show today, chill, by just going over just quick, brief news on the WNBA. Go over some of the game scores last night. We can even talk about some performances if we if there's any performances worthy enough to talk about.
Absolutely. But so we could start with Caitlin Clark. Still, she's out with her injury.
She's still out.
And they're clearly suffering because of it. I think they dropped their second straight or third straight game last night, losing to Connecticut.
They lost to the Sun by 2. It was a good game, 85-83.
And Ox, you and I had this conversation a couple of days ago. Ox, sometimes you get your ass busted, and ain't really nothing that you can do about it. And I feel like Aaliyah Boston, as good as she is, I mean, she ran up on a GOAT last night. She did. She ran up on a GOAT last night who clearly still got the goods. I might not be able to do it every night because I'm older, but I still can get up for the better competition. And Tina Charles, she definitely got up for Aaliyah Boston last night. And all that work that Aaliyah Boston was looking for, she got it last night. I mean, Tina Charles basically just gave her a masterclass of, and it wasn't the scoring, like, because people think that if you automatically don't get 25 or 30, that it was just okay. No, I mean, Tina Charles just did a number of different things, right? She was screening. Not only was she screening, her pick and pop game was fantastic last night. She was great around the rim. I mean, she just gave Aaliyah Boston a taste of her own medicine that, if you're going to stick around this league and you're going to play for a long time, this is what you have to do. You got to do the small things. And she was great in pick and dive last night. I mean, she wasn't fantastic at scoring at the rim, but she was good enough that, I mean, she gave Aaliyah Boston a run for her money last night.
She started out hot. It wasn't she just didn't sustain the scoring all the way throughout the game.
Sure.
But the pace she started out scoring was that type of pace. You know what I mean? And just like you said, she showed she still got it. I mean, she's number 2 all-time scoring for a reason.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She's number 2 all-time scoring for a reason. It was dope to see her and DeWanna on the floor together, because I mean, DeWanna Bonner, she's number 3 all-time scoring. You know what I mean? So having them two at the game, in the game at the same time, and still you can see they both got a little bit in the tank. It was pretty dope. Marina Mabry did carry on the scoring load last night for Tina and the rest of the squad, and they end up winning that game by 2.
I love her, man. She is
Marina.
She is just so necessary. Like every time I watch her, she's one of those players that, like, I don't care who you pick, Ox. Make sure she on the floor. We need her. We I don't care about KD. I don't care about Anthony Edwards. I don't care about James. We need him. Like she's the Drew Holiday of the NBA for me. Like, I don't care what else you got going on the floor. She need to be on the floor, because all the other stuff that needs to get done, she's going to do it. All the other stuff. Those 50-50 balls, getting on the glass, knocking down timely shots, coming up with a big stop. I mean, last night they had a stretch where she ended up getting the tip ball out of bounds. I was like, how huge is that for the momentum for them? Because because Indiana, they were trying to get back in the game, and that stopped their momentum. Oh man, I love everything about this lady. Oh, right. She's awesome.
See, I might, between like her and Kayla McBride are like the 2 most underrated players in the WNBA to me. Like Marina Mabry, Kayla McBride. I love those 2. Like those some of my favorite players to watch.
We get wrapped up a lot of times, man, in the flash. We get wrapped up a lot of times in the scoring, and that's the beautiful part of the game, when you completely missing out on players like Marina Mabry, right? Derek White, players like that Marcus Smart. I love those kind of players. I love everything about this lady, Ox. She's awesome. Yeah, I do.
I mean, chill. We all know Notre Dame. They put out Notre Dame. They put out straight ballers. You know what I'm saying? We the list goes on. Notre Dame puts out straight ballers. Next, I didn't check out much of the Liberty Mystic games, but I mean, the Liberty handled them. Wasn't much of a game. Beat them by 22. Sabrina Ionescu was the high score in that one. Dream versus. Oh, did you? What'd you see in that? What happened in that one?
They are a machine, Ox. They are a machine. It's almost like the teams. What it reminds me of is the '91 Bulls. What I mean when I say that, Ox, is teams would come in and they already know that they're getting their ass whooped. They just coming in trying to make it respectable. All right, let's not get smoked by 50. Right. Let's see if we can keep this. Let's see if we can keep this respectable. And if we're in the game at the end, then let that be. But I mean, Ox, this team. When I talk about when I talk about firing on all cylinders, don't get me wrong, they're not perfect, but everything that they do is precise. Like they don't do anything without purpose. Like Sabrina is not moving without purpose. Right. And you already know how I feel about Jacquel. I mean,
18 boards.
18 of them, right? 18 boards. I didn't appreciate her being at the long ball line like she was. But to be honest with you, Ox, I think that was more of an experimentation type thing. Like, I can still shoot the long ball. I can come out here and shoot it, but she still did the other stuff. She still did the other stuff. She got on the glass. She manned the paint, all of that other stuff. And same thing with Brianna. Brianna didn't shoot the ball well last night, but I can tell you, Ox, that defense that they have, they shut the door on you. And Rebecca Gardner, I'm not going to say that she's the same as Marina, but she live in the same neighborhood. Like, we need her. She need to be on the floor. If she's not playing, that energy that we need is not there. So they're a machine, Ox. They're gonna be hard to beat. They are. They're gonna be really hard to beat.
And then the Lynx Mercury game, which those two teams are really good this year. A lot of people have the Lynx as their favorite. I think the Mercury, what they did this offseason was amazing. Getting Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali, that was a great pickup. AT and Fee both didn't play last night, but Kayla McBride and Satu Sabali, they put on a show. The Lynx ended up pulling that one out by 3. I was personally watching the Aces versus Sparks, which we'll talk about next. So I didn't catch most of this game either. Only caught 2.5 games last night. Did you see any of this one?
I saw a little bit of it. I didn't see much of the Phoenix game. What I did see was I saw Kalani Brown just come off the bench and she just got busy. I mean, I didn't see much of it, but she just seemed to be so much in rhythm while she was playing yesterday. They looked for her. Like, once she got going, it was almost impossible to stop her in the little bit of time that she got. I think that to be honest with you, Ox, I think last night, I think she earned herself some more minutes. They also did a good job. Minnesota did. In the little bit of time that I watched, I felt like they did a good job on Phoenix's starting 5. Like, they really didn't get an opportunity to get a lot of quality looks. So Minnesota, this Minnesota team is serious, and I think that they're going to give the Liberty a run for their money, but that Liberty team is a machine.
Chill, do you know about Sammy Wickham on that Mercury team? You familiar with her?
I'm not. I'll be lying.
Sammy Wickham is she's a legend. Like, she's still balling, but she's up in age now. Yeah. She still got something in the tank. But I saw her play live in person for the first time when I was in Australia. She was playing down in Australia. Yeah, and that's the first time I ever seen her live. I've heard of her before because right up there in Washington. Right, and she's a baller. And then I caught her again a couple years ago when she was playing in Seattle. She's now down in Phoenix. Any team with Sammy Wickham on their team, that first of all, they got a professional. Second of all, they just got a killer. You got to know where she is all the time. You got to close out on her. She's a little. She's not a superstar. A lot of people don't know who she is, but Sammy Wickham, she's can start on most teams in the W, and she does. She's starting right now with Phoenix, I'm not sure.
Even though she long,
but she's not. I think Sammy, she's not old. She's just getting over there. I think Sammy might be 34, 35 or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like she she still got some years left, but you know what I'm saying? She's not a young gun no more. But when I first caught up with Sammy, the first time I saw her live, she was like 25, 26. Absolute beast. Absolute beast. Speaking of absolute beast, though, speaking of an absolute monster, Kelsey Plum returned to Vegas last night, and Asia Wilson reminded her, like, this what goes on here at the Michelob Ultra arena. You know what I mean? And she showed everybody why she's the best player in the NBA. Shout out to Fee. Chill. What did 35, 13, and 6 look like last night?
That I'm the best player in the world, and as good as you guys are, and as good as you guys claim to be, y'all ain't me yet. Y'all not close to where I'm at.
That mid range is butter, chill.
That shit is cash, especially in transition, Ox. And the thing that I appreciate about her game the most, is how Jackie is looking for her. Like, she know where her bread is buttered. Jackie knows exactly where her bread is buttered. Jackie could get hers. Jackie knows that she can get, and since we're on the subject of Jackie knows that she could get hers because she was looking at Kelsey like she was a bucket of extra crispy. And on top of that, Ox, that was personal yesterday. Yesterday, not just with Jackie. And when I say personal, I don't mean personal like I don't like you, but like we winning it and we don't need you to win it.
Mm-hmm.
We getting back there and we don't need you in order for us to get back there. Now, Jewel didn't have exactly the best game shooting the ball, but I think that she was dialed in other spaces. Right. I definitely think she was dialed in other spaces. But Jackie and Kelsey both, they know where their bread is buttered. When that thing come off the glass and Asia is running, I don't care who else is running. That's who she looking for. Kelsey ain't looking for nobody else before she looking for Asia.
Chelsea Gray.
Yes, Kelsey knows. Chelsea, I'm sorry, I keep calling her Kelsey. I apologize. Chelsea, she ain't looking for nobody else before she looking for Asia. Nobody. And Asia know that. That's why Asia run like she's running. That's why she rebounds like she rebounds. Chelsea knows where her bread is buttered. That Vegas team, they know for a fact that they got a shot just off the strength that we got Asia. When she faced up in that mid-range, like she had a shot yesterday. They run this action. They run this screen action between both her and Chelsea where Jewel Lloyd, I have a dribble handoff, and Jewel Lloyd a dive.
Excuse me.
Jewel Lloyd a dive, and they looking for the switch, but this is the great thing about women's basketball because they're so technically sound. They're looking for the switch, but those women fight over screens, so they don't allow switches. So last night is a prime example that I'm watching them with this action, and I'm watching their big girl get around that screen, and she stays on Asia. Asia got her at the wing. Asia got her on the elbow, and she looking right in her face like you know what you're about to get. You know exactly what you – and Asia doesn't play around neither, Ox. Asia's not one of those women who, you know, she's dribbling the ball 6 or 7 times. She gets right to it. She doesn't make any – she doesn't waste any time, and there's no unnecessary movement. I love this Vegas team, man. These women are awesome. 100%.
Yeah, Jackie went to work. She had a good run. She ended up with 26. But like mentioning Jewel, that's what we were talking about on the panel yesterday. I think defensively, Jewel played very well last night. The shooting, this is just the lid on the rim for Jewel right now. You know what I'm saying? There's just a straight lid on the rim. But when you're a scorer like Jewel Lloyd, who led the WNBA in scoring, you know, very recently, you know that lid's gonna come off at some point. And when that happens. This is going to be a hell of a team. I mean, they're already a hell of a team. Chelsea Gray, she's the point guard for a reason. Mm-hmm. Jackie, she when Kelsey left, Jackie just stepped right in there like it's good. I can score the ball. We don't got nothing to worry about. Yeah, so
she's real efficient last night. And don't leave out, Ox, that they went after Kelsey yesterday.
Oh,
they 100% went after her yesterday. On top of that, I feel like they made a conscious effort to slow Kelsey down. I thought that they were great in their switches. I thought they were great in closing out on her. I thought they were great in making her take tough shots because Kelsey's back in the space where she's a bucket getter now. That's what she wasn't really that as much as she could be in Vegas because of Jackie and because of Asia. So she wasn't really that. Well, now in Los Angeles, way different, where she's now the primary, now where she can score it. I told you this earlier, Ox. I think she's gonna lead the league in scoring for the rest of the season. I do. But
you think so?
Against that Vegas team yesterday, they made a conscious effort to slow her down specifically, and they did that. Yeah. And they did that on the defensive end by going after her, by making her. I could see Asia leading the league again. I could see her getting over 1,000 points again this season. But one thing about the Aces I do want to bring up is that they're coming off the bench with Tiffany Mitchell, Dana Gray, Liz Kitley. You know what I mean, and the rookie Aaliyah Nye, who can shoot the ball really well. Yeah. So. Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see how this goes. But that's the news in the WNBA. As far as yesterday, we got some good games. Today, I believe it's Dallas versus Chicago. It's only one game today, Dallas versus Chicago, that
that I'm aware of. So, you know what I'm saying, y'all, check it out, man. Check it out. In other news, though, Chill, there's been a trend. There's in college, we got a couple kids that are deciding, you know what I'm saying, they don't want to get into the draft. What is that about, folks? So we got Ohio State's Bruce Thornton Jr., Monty Williams, and they said they're among 50 players to withdraw from the draft. That's 50 players withdraw. I don't know if that happens very often where all of a sudden it's 50. I don't know.
Well, two things, Ox. One, the NIL really helps guys stay in school because now that's an opportunity for me to continue to make money. A lot of times these kids come out of school because their family is in a dire strait financially. So, you know, I gotta go get this money. But I'm in a space now where I don't have to do that. You know, now don't get me wrong, not everybody is making $500,000, $1 million in NIL money. No, not everybody's doing that, but plenty of these guys are making some good coin where they can take care of some people that they wouldn't be able to otherwise. But I also think that GMs love this. What I mean when I say that, Ox, is they would rather these guys stay in school so they can develop, not just as ball players, but as men. Because when you move into the NBA 18, 19 years old, and I'm no longer an amateur. I'm a professional now. Like, this is my livelihood. There is no more school. There is no more classes and all of that sort of stuff. And I know for a fact when I was playing that I think this is a great tool. So this kid Thornton that plays at Ohio State, he's in the top 10 in the league, and he's in the top 10 in the Big Ten in scoring. He's in the top 10 in the Big Ten in assists, and he's probably getting some information from NBA scouts and from GMs that you're not ready yet. Same thing happened with Zach Edey. The exact same thing happened with Zach Edey, and this is the college player of the year. Yo, big fella, go back to school. He goes back to school. He turns into a top 10 pick. Right, this kid Money Williams that plays at the University of Montana. Ox, he an all-league guard as a southpaw, second team all-league. They telling him, yo, you're not ready yet. Perfect, that's fine. I'll go back to school and I'll get what I need to get sharp. One of my good buddies, I grew up with him. His name's Travis Pettiford. His son plays at the university at Auburn University. Tahad Pettiford. He's going back to school, and I personally think that he's going to be the best point guard in the country, and I think he'll be a top 10 pick next year. And it's important that you go when you're ready. The guy that I remember specifically, Ox, that I was really happy when he went back to school, it was Harrison Barnes. I remember Harrison Barnes' first year at North Carolina. Everybody was talking about him putting his name in the draft. And I vividly remember watching him going, he ain't ready yet. And when I heard that he was going back to school, I was like, one more year is going to be perfect for him. One more year is not going to hurt him. And when he decided to come back and he did what he did, that next year, and here we are 15 years later, Oxy's still in the league.
Still in the league, getting money. So what about Pettiford though? Chill. Do you think Pettiford's like skill-wise, you think he could play in the league? You think he's ready?
I do think that he can play in the league, but I do think that there's some things that he does need to work on. And not only are there some things that I feel like he needs to work on. I feel like if I could move myself up in the draft, I don't think he's ever going to be the number one pick in the draft. Because like when you think about the number one pick in the draft, especially as a point guard and Kyrie Irving, that's the last like small guy. Like when you think about guys going that high, small guys. I mean, and Pettiford's about 6 foot 6'1", super nice with the peel, get downhill with the best of them. Ox, he got ice water in his veins. He's not afraid of anything. He is so with the drama, but he's still small. And when I say small, I mean. When I say small, I mean he still hasn't filled out yet. And the NBA, I feel like I feel like the NBA with these kids going back to school, these guys are being more mature. And with these guys being more mature, I feel like I have to be that too. So with Tahad going back to school, it's not going to hurt him for one more year to move into the top 10. I think that would be I think he's a top 10 pick next year. I don't think he's ever going to be the number one pick in the draft. Don't get me wrong, Ox. The longer you stick around, the more I feel like the longer you stick around, the more teams can evaluate you. But that's also a good thing too, because they see the improvement in you as well, right? So with Tahad taking care of his body, with this kid Thornton in the Big Ten taking care of his body, I think he averaged almost 18 a game. That's good enough for top 10. I think that was 7th in the Big Ten that he was scoring. He was in the top 10 in the league in assists, averaged almost 5 assists a game. I'm thinking to myself, this is perfect, right? This is perfect for guys to go back to school, get yourself sharper, understand exactly what it takes to be a pro, and once you do that, I think you put yourself in the right position. Now, don't get me wrong, Ox. There are some guys who stick around longer than they should, and it could hurt them.
A couple people did that. CJ Leslie, CJ Fair, both of them was played too long.
Absolutely. There's times when you may be loving the college experience, which I can appreciate, but sometimes it's all right. It's time to go. You've been here long enough. You've done everything that you need to do. But I feel like in this particular situation with this kid Money Williams, which is a dope basketball name, by the way. His name's Money Williams. I think that's so dope, right? But with guys like that, I feel like if he can get another year at 13 and I think at 13 and 5, if that 13, you could turn that 13 into 17, and then that 17 is you being stronger, being a better distributor. They're already watching you. They're already paying attention to you.
Yeah, it's hard to get drafted out of Montana State though.
It is 100%.
It's hard to get drafted out of Montana State. My thing, most like so for Pettiford in particular, I don't know the particulars. I don't know all the details, but I'm sure financially he's straight staying in college. Like, so I'm sure he's gonna get some money this coming up season. So and I don't know. Once again, I don't know the facts. It might not be as much as he would get being a first round draft pick or something like that, but it's still, so I'm pretty sure it's still going to be some good money. So it's like, why not? You know what I'm saying? I could stay here, get paid, get better, make another run for a championship, stuff like that. No, I'll get to the league when I'm ready. I do enjoy the NIL for those reasons where it's not making kids feel like they gotta go professional, gotta rush. You know what I mean? Like, I talk about that. I'll talk about that all the time. Like when especially with people that like have kids my age or whatever, we're kind of like when I was younger, it was always like, go get your education, go do this. If you want to get paid, you know what I'm saying? It's highly unlikely, but you got to go pro or something. You know what I mean? It's highly unlikely. Yeah. But now it's kind of like you can go to college and get you some money. Yes. You know what I mean? So
some real
I think that's pretty dope, and I think it's really good for kids to not try to rush their way into the NBA.
Absolutely. And the last thing that I want to do is worry about getting hurt. Well, if you worry about getting hurt, you're going to get hurt, right? If you just focus on taking care of your body, trying to become a professional and doing the things to become a professional, that's all that's important. If you don't have a history of injury like that, don't worry about that sort of stuff. Worry about, not worry about it, focus on expanding your game, focus on what's necessary at the next level. All right, there's a guy that you've picked out. All right, that's me right there. That's my game. And when I think about players when I was coming up, I was a big time Joe Dumars fan when I was coming up, and Jordan. I knew I was never going to be that good, but I was looking at guys like that in terms of my game. If I was coming out of school today, guys like Drew Holiday are guys that I would be looking at like, that's me. I'm gonna be that right there. I want that to be my game. I'm gonna be the guy that plays defense. I'm gonna be the guy that is the disruptor, but I'm also gonna be able to knock down an open shot. I'm gonna be a professional. I feel like once you pick that apart, I feel like these guys will be fine. I think this is great for the NBA that these guys are going back to school. I do. Yeah, I think this is great.
I think so too. I think it's always good to bring more professionals in. You know what I mean? And you stay around in college for a while, you can learn how to become a professional, which I can't stress the importance of that. I always try to stress the importance of being a professional and learning how to be professional early. You know what I mean? It's never too young to learn how to be a professional and carry yourself as one. You know what I mean? So shout out to those guys that are making the best decision for them. Wow. I do want, now going to the NBA now. Let's get into some things, Chill. I want to talk about the fact that most points scored by a guard in the playoffs since 2002, and it comes. So are these guys 1 and 2, Chill? Like so. Okay, so it says Luka Doncic has scored 1,697 points in the playoffs since 2020.
Wow.
And it also says that Jalen Brunson has scored 1,682 points. That's just 15 points less than Luka Doncic since 2020. And both of these guys were drafted together by the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes, they were. And on top of that, Ox, I mean, if you think about deep playoff runs, I mean, the Knicks are deep in the playoffs. They went deep in the playoffs last year. They lost in the semifinal. I mean, they won in They lost in the semifinals to Indiana. Year before that, I think that they lost in the semifinals again. Luka's been to the conference finals twice. He's been to the NBA finals. So, of course, these guys are going deep in the playoffs, so they're able to, accumulate a lot of stats. With that being said, I mean, you don't know what you don't know, and it sounds on paper like, yo, we should have held on to these dudes. But to have two scoring guards like that, let's be clear, Ox, they fumbled the bag with Jalen Brunson. They were cheap. They didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, right.
That's what that was.
Right.
I mean, this had nothing to do with anything else except for the fact that they didn't want to pay him, right? So because they didn't want to pay him, he walks right out the front door. So then with Luka, I mean, the writing was on the wall. Nobody really wants to talk about it and tell the truth about it, but the writing was on the wall when Rick Carlisle left, if we're being honest. Rick Carlisle being the constant professional that he is, never really having that many problems. I know how you feel about him and Rondo, Ox, and I can appreciate that because Rondo is your guy. But I think the writing was on the wall with Rick Carlisle when he left because how he felt about what Luka was doing. And then to lose Brunson for nothing, I definitely think that they fumbled the bag with Brunson. However, I still think that they're in a good space. Luka's now with the Lakers, and I think that they got their guy of the future. We already know that the Knicks got their point guard that as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be there for at least a decade. I don't think he's going anywhere. But I think it's interesting to see guys like that when you make draft picks because they ended up finding Brunson in the second round. These teams did not do their homework. They dropped the ball on him. 100%. He was a first-team All-American. His team had won a national championship. He was the best point guard in the country. He should have been a first-round pick. The idea that he's small, well, obviously that's not a problem because you see what he's doing in the NBA. That's obviously not a problem. He can get to the rim with the best of them. His development and his work ethic has been one of the best. We already know how good Luka is in terms of a bucket getter, as a distributor, and as a playmaker. So, I mean, the fact that Dallas had both of these guys in under their umbrella, I mean, it's a testament to Dallas doing their homework. Let's be clear about that. I think it's a testament to Dallas doing their homework, and I feel like it's a testament to how good Dallas's scout team is. Now, management on some level might be a little bit tricky, but I feel like they're getting it back together.
Chill. So they had Brunson, they had Luka. They've scored a whole bunch of points in the playoffs, and that's great. Now, some people would say Dallas is in a privileged position right now, in line to get Cooper Flag. They got Anthony Davis still. Kyrie's on the roster, hurt, but on the roster. They still got all the role players they had when Luka went on the last run with them. Some people would say Dallas is in a nice situation. So I ask you, if you let's go since they got drafted. They got drafted in, what was that, 18?
Both of them in the same year. Got
since 2000,
and Brunson in the second round.
Let's go back 10 years. Give them a decade from 15 to 25. Let's just give it a decade. What grade would you give the Dallas front office, ownership, management, all of that? What grade would you give that front office just based on where they were then and where they are now?
Well, where they were then, it wasn't in a good space because remember, Ox, so after they won the NBA championship in 2011, Rick Carlisle, when he left, what year was that he left? I want to say 21 or 22 is when he left. They hadn't gotten out of the first round after they won the NBA championship. So for a decade, they didn't get out of the first round. With that being said, to draft, to flip that roster, to lose Vince Carter, to not retool that roster, to not get a backup 5-man. I mean, I didn't think that they were doing the necessary things. I'm not saying that they held on to Dirk longer than they should have, but there's people who don't want to have that conversation. I mean, I think that they could have gotten something for Dirk, but they wanted Dirk to be a legacy guy, so they did hold on to him, which I can appreciate that. But if you were trying to win, there was a time when you probably could have gotten something substantial for Dirk and gotten yourself back in the middle of it. So I feel like they did make a mistake in that aspect, but this is business, and they wanted to hold on to Dirk for as long as they wanted to get Luka in 18. I think that they made the right decision there. I think that they were able. I think that they were able to rectify this. I think that they were able to rectify this thing. They were trying to build that unit around Luka. I'll give them a B. Yeah, I'll give them a B for what they've done up until this point, because before they got Luka, it wasn't working. It was not working at all.
Well, that's a solid score. Then I won't say that Dallas dropped the ball. I mean, losing losing Luka and JB, and then they look still amazing, but they're gonna have Cooper Flag, so I guess they got a bright future, right? So chill. The word is that the Timberwolves are going to go after Kevin Durant again this offseason. But you don't like that?
Ox, I'm out on this KD experiment. Ox, I'm out on it. I've seen it, and
chill. I don't get what you mean by that.
I'm tired.
I just don't get what you mean by the experiment. How is Kevin Durant an experiment? Why would you use that word? Experiment.
Okay, let me rephrase that. The Kevin Durant experience. How about that? That's what I mean.
Okay.
Not the Kevin Durant experience, because we're not experimenting with Kevin Durant. No, we're not trying something with Kevin Durant. No, we know who KD is. The KD experience, I'm out on it, Ox. And the reason why I'm out on it is because I've seen what ultimately happens, and I'm tired of listening to, well, it wasn't KD's fault that Kyrie broke down. It wasn't KD's fault that Coach Bud couldn't coach. It wasn't KD's fault that Bradley Beal. This is what comes with him, though. Like, this isn't something. This has nothing to do with KD as a player in terms of his game, but this does come with him. This is the baggage that KD carries. On top of that, everything that I have to lose, everything that I have to get rid of in order to get KD. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Phoenix calls up Minnesota and says, how do you feel about KD, or how do you feel about Rudy, or who on your crew are you interested in coming off of for KD? I'm really not interested in, at 37 years old, I think he's going to be 37 on opening night. I'm really not interested in coming off a bunch of different guys and what it's going to cost for KD. I'm not interested in that, Ops, because I feel like we do have something that we can build on. I do think that we have to upgrade at the 5 spot, get a backup center for Rudy. I think a more mobile, a more athletic backup center for Rudy. Anthony Edwards has to get better. I think Jaden McDaniels is going to come back better. We got to upgrade at the lead spot, at the lead guard spot. That's where the biggest issue is, right there. I think we straight at our small forward spot. I think we good there with Jaden McDaniels. And I think that we got to figure out what we're going to do with Naz Reid, because we can't let Naz Reid walk out the front door. I think that's terrible for business. But upgrade at the backup 5 spot with Rudy. You straight at the 2 guard. You straight at the small forward. You got to upgrade at the lead guard spot. I think your rotation guys, they've shown me that they're really good. I love this kid Shannon, this kid Clark. You still got these dudes. You got Dillingham on rook deals. And I understand that we live in a space where, all right, we got to do it. We got to do it right now. We got to strike when the iron's hot. Even if that's true, Ox, I don't think KD is the answer. If this was 3 years ago, if this was 4 years ago, I'd be all for it. I'd be like, I bet. But at 37 years old, what it's going to cost for KD? And on top of that, he's on an expiring next year. So which means that
you only need one. You're only getting 1 year out of him. I mean, like you said, he's getting old. You know what I'm saying? Right. 1 year is enough.
But here's the difference, though, Ox. Like, what I'm going to have to give up is essentially what I'm going to have to give up is I'm giving up so much, right? I'm giving up so much for KD for this 1 year. And when it doesn't work, now I'm back to starting over. Like, I can't imagine Phoenix giving up KD and Jaden McDaniels is not in the lineup. I mean, Jaden McDaniels.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Shit, that's not even an option. Like, I don't think KD's as expensive as Jaden and Dante and throw this person and that person. Like, I don't think you're getting 4 players and 3 picks for KD anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think KD's gonna be a little cheaper than that.
Here's the problem, Mox. The problem that we have with KD is his contract. Even though it's an expiring contract, right? Even though it's an expiring contract next year, he's on the books for $54 million, Ox. 54.
Oh,
yes.
Well,
he's on the books for 50. He's on the books for $54 million, and it's expiring. So we got to make that money work. So KD ain't coming for cheap. No, we're gonna have to give something up substantial to get KD.
You don't even worry about it, chill. This conversation's over. We already hung up.
I'm sorry.
Don't even trip, though. Y'all got it. We good because I already told you what the Timberwolves need to do, and honestly, I think somebody over there is gonna have an epiphany, an epiphany, a light bulb moment. I'm telling you, they're gonna send Rudy to San Antonio with his French brethren and bring Foxy up here to Minnesota. I'm telling you, De'Aaron Fox and Anthony Edwards are going to terrorize the league for the next 7 to 8 seasons. Watch when it happens. When Rudy Gobert is going to go down there to San Antonio because they think they're going to do the Twin Tower best rim protection we've ever seen in our lives, and that's what they're going to bank on. And they're like, "Shit, we don't really need Foxy. We're about to get Harper's little man, Dylan Harper. Yeah, Dylan Harper down there. They got Stephon Castle. They got Devin Vassell. They good. It's just boom, boom. Foxy, you up there? Rudy, go on."
I love Foxy with Anthony Edwards, but I think that Foxy's in he's in San Antonio's plans. Even though rumor has it his wife was not happy about moving back to San Antonio. She wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Is she from down there or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was not happy about moving back to San Antonio. No, she wasn't.
I mean, I don't blame her. Nobody want to leave Sacramento. What? I'll feel it. Other news. We got other news, y'all. Mm-hmm. It's likely some truth to the fact that the Clippers are trying to bring all the LA guys home. Where it is they're expected to go after Drew Holiday this offseason.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, what do we think about that?
To be honest with you, I don't hate it because I've already seen the James Harden experience, and James Harden is the system.
No, that's an experiment. That's an experiment.
Why is that?
Kevin Durant is an experience. This is an experiment with James Harden. You had it right.
I've already seen that movie with James Harden, and I know for a fact of what it turns into. And Drew's getting a little long in the tooth. So it sounds to me like what these dudes are trying to do is they're trying to just sell tickets, because I feel like the championship window for them, I mean, James Harden's going to be 36 on opening night. I think that I got the best out of Kawhi Leonard. Are we going to consistently monitor him and ramp him up by like January? Are we going to do that again? And then are we going to hold him out of the lineup? And then come January, are we going to ramp him up again? But then you add in Drew, who's, already had a number of different injuries, and he's dealing with that. He's going to be 35 on opening night. So we got a bunch of guys that's long in the tooth. And don't forget, Ox, Drew Holiday just signed an extension. So he's on the books for 35, and in the last year, that deal at 38 years old, he's on the books for $37 million, which some people may think that's not a lot of money. But, at 38 years old, $37 million, it could be substantial, especially when you're trying to move somebody. However, as in terms of a player, what does that mean for Chris Dunn? Because I think you already have your perimeter defender. You don't have your bucket getter. You don't have your scorer, because Drew Holiday can still score. Drew Holiday can still knock down an open shot. And I still think that to this day, he's a better defender than Chris Dunn. So what does this mean for Chris Dunn if you're trying to take on that contract? Does that mean that you're moving off of Chris Dunn? Are you going to extend Chris Dunn for a little less money? In terms of the fit, that means that Drew's going to play off the ball, which, I mean, I don't think that's a big deal, because he can play off the ball. He doesn't have to have the ball in his hands. He can play off the ball. We already know that James Harden is the guy on the ball. Then you have Leonard, but I feel like at the 2-guard spot, again, very much like with KD, I feel like if we could have gotten younger Drew Holiday, like 2021 Drew Holiday, I'm so with that. I'm so down with that. But at this point, in terms of a basketball fit, I think it might be a little trickier. And I understand why Boston would be interested in getting off Drew Holiday, because, again, at 35 years old, the injuries are starting to mount. He's getting a little bit older. He's not what he used to be. And, I mean, that price tag is a little high. So I think when you look at them trying to acquire Drew, like, yeah, I get with you with the tickets, bring the LA guys home. But also, I think it's more than that, though. I think it's about, like how you said, they already have their perimeter defender. I think they're looking like we need more than just one perimeter defender. We need guys that can come over here and play defense. If Bogey's not scoring, he's not really giving you much. Like he will compete on the defensive end, but I don't think anybody's ever considered him much of a defensive stopper or anything like that. So you look at it, I look at it that way. Like, just
more perimeter defense. You get a vet. You get a guy that knows how to play winning basketball. I think Drew Holiday is a good pickup for the Clippers. I think if they had Drew Holiday this season instead of Bogey, they likely beat the Nuggets.
Been better. They may,
you know what I mean? Yeah, they likely beat the Nuggets.
From a defensive standpoint, Ox, I could get with you because, to your point, Bogey looks like if he's not knocking down shots, he's kind of useless, which is kind of crazy because I saw him in the Olympics. Like, he competed on the defensive end. He didn't do that with the Clippers. I don't know why. I don't, because I saw him in the Olympics and he 100% competed internationally. However, with Drew, I think it's the opposite. He will compete on the defensive end, but I don't know if he can knock down open shots like Bogey can. That's the thing that I'm worried about. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that Drew's a better player than Bogey. I'm not going to argue that point. I do think that he's a better player, but being younger, being the age that Drew is, and being in the space that Drew is in terms of the money, and not just the money, but him playing off the ball and having to consistently knock down open shots, plus be a defender, I'm not sure about the fit.
Okay. Yeah, I could dig that. Let me see. Let me get to a couple of these super chats really quick. Vitae Harris says, I have never really watched WNBA ever, but that girl Jonquil Jones is so goddamn good.
I remember watching the finals last year specifically, and I remember watching her on a box. And I know how you guys feel about Sabrina, right? I know how you guys feel about Sabrina, and I'm a big time Sabrina fan too. But I remember thinking, run the offense through the big girl, and I know how good. Right, I know how good all those other women are, but I was like, yo, run the offense through the big girl. Nobody should shoot the ball till she touch it. And I didn't realize. I was paying attention to her. And I saw glimpses of her in college. She went to GW, by the way. I saw glimpses of her in college. I didn't really watch much, but I didn't know that she could shoot the long ball up until last year. I didn't know she could stretch the defense like that. I did not know that. And when I saw that, I was like, that's something that you can't really, with her being on the block, on top of her being on the block, her on the offensive glass, and now she's stretching the defense. She's making it almost impossible for y'all to deal with it.
Yeah, no doubt. Duce Rhodes says, can you give the Knicks one more day, Chill?
Y'all had it.
Actually, let's get back to this. Let's get back to this in a minute. Let's get back to this in just a minute. I want. No, you know what? Forget about it. Let's get straight to it. You know what? You're right. You know what? Let's just go. I see y'all in the lobby. We'll get to y'all in a couple minutes. Let's get through something real quick, because the title of the show is Knicks in 7. Chill. Can you give the Knicks one more day? Mind you, y'all, me and Chill will be on playback doing this game today at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, Chill, on that playback, will you be giving the Knicks one more day?
No, I won't. I think
no,
I won't.
It's over.
I think the series is over tonight. Now,
tonight.
Don't get me wrong, Ox. Stranger things have happened. 95% of teams that go down 3-1 lose. However, there is that 5%. All right.
So there's hope.
Yeah, 100% there's hope. And I've already said this to you before the series started, Ox. I gave you all my analysis of the Knicks. I gave you all my analysis of Indiana. The Pope did go to Villanova. Right. Facts. So, I don't want to leave that part out. That's very important to mention. But I feel like them giving up those 2 games at home, I think that's what sunk them. I think because they ended up getting one of those games back, which was game 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was game 4. They ended up getting one of those games back, which helped. But giving up both of those games at home, now it's a really big problem for them, because now you got to go to Indiana and win again. And in addition to winning again, you have to completely stifle again what Indiana is best at, with the rotation guys that they have, how fast they play, not only how fast they play, but how aggressive Indiana has been. I'm expecting a big game from one of their rotation guys today. That's what I'm expecting. More in terms of Tyrese Halliburton, I think that I saw the Tyrese Halliburton game, but I haven't seen the Indiana Pacers game yet in this series, where they're hitting on all cylinders. And I think that they know the severity of this. But I keep hearing, which I think is amazing to me, Ox, I keep hearing people telling me You know, all the pressure's on Indiana. Okay, Ox, first of all, number one, you traded Mikal Bridges for 5 ones. Not only did you trade Mikal Bridges for 5 ones, you traded for Cat and that money. Not only did you trade for Cat, you extended OG Anunoby at $200 million. That's $40 million a season. You didn't get 1, Ox. You got 2 all-pros on your crew. In addition to having 2 all-pros on your crew, let me not leave out the most important part of this, Ox. If you lose, you out. If you lose, you out. Indiana got another game. If they lose, they got another chance. It might not be a great chance going into Madison Square Garden for Game 7, because now that means that you got to win 3 times in their building. You already won once. You already won twice. Now you're saying that you got to win 3 games. Your season ends on the spot if you lose, right? Not only does your season end on the spot, you pushed all of your chips to the front of the table to win. You didn't push your chips to the front of the table to just beat this. You trying to win it. And I'm already on record saying that I feel like the Knicks, they built that team to beat the defending NBA champion. I don't think that they built that team to win the NBA championship. But with that being said, all the heat is on the Knicks tonight. All of it. You're facing elimination. You lose, you're out. 100%. I think it's the consummate Jedi mind trick from the Knicks fan that's trying to suggest that, yo, if we can get this back to New York, yo, Indiana got a lot of pressure on them, because if we get you back to New York, if you lose, you out. So
I'm saying, chill, is that not a fact?
It's
like,
not a fact.
I'm not saying there's a lot of pressure on Indiana because they're thinking like, oh no, if we lose, we go back to Madison Square, because like you said, there's if that's the case, then the pressure's on the Knicks, because if they lose, they go to Cancun, right?
Goodbye.
But what I'm saying is it not a fact that if New York does in fact win Game 6, that they go to Madison Square with Indiana got their back on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to think about the atmosphere in New York if this goes to Game 7. Like, really, they might need protection getting, like, Indiana might need protection from the airport getting in and out of the city. Like, they might not you know what I'm saying? They might not even be able to fly into JFK. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? For real. Like, they might have to sneak into Newark. Yeah, they might got to sneak into Newark at 2 a.m. get, wiggle through the city. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be serious out there.
100%. So I can get with that logic. However, Ox, what I'm gonna counter that with is the history of this has shown, one, we already beat y'all in your building, not once but twice. We came in your building and beat y'all. All right. So could we do it again? Yes, we could do it again. Would we rather not have to play Game 7 in your building? We'd rather not. If we have an opportunity to end this tonight in our building, let's finish this. Let's not waste any more time with these dudes, because the longer the series lasts, the more likely things can go wrong for us and right for them. More likely. And I'm not really interested in that. We could have a blowout game from OG Anunoby where he goes for like 35 or some nonsense like that, and then turn around and Cat goes for another 20-20 game, something like that, 35-13. That could happen. We don't want this. We don't want this to linger any longer than it should. But ultimately, to your point, yes, going back to Madison Square Garden would be a problem. However, you guys are facing all the heat, all of it, because your season ends on the spot, and everything that you were trying to do, it ends tonight. Everything, if you lose. So I feel like this Indiana team, I feel like they're poised. I think Rick Carlisle's got them in space where they know exactly where they need to be. They know that they need to speed the game up. They know that they need to keep the game fast. The matchup between Cat and Turner, I'm conceding that, Ox. I'm going to concede the matchup between Cat and Turner. He kicks Turner's ass. And I'm just conceding that. I think the separator in this game is going to be the rotation guys. That's what I felt like it was when the series started, and I'm still feeling that throughout the course of this series. The separation is going to be the rotation guys. What kind of production am I getting from TJ, Obi, Matherin? What kind of production am I getting from the rest of those guys? Bradley coming in and giving quality minutes. What kind of job can we do to keep Mitchell Robinson off the glass and limit their second chance opportunities? We're not going to keep him off the glass totally, but can we keep him off the can we tame him where instead of him getting 6 or 7 offensive rebounds, it's only 2 or 3, and that limits their opportunities? Can we not stifle Jalen Brunson, but can we keep him at a, I don't know, 23 and 7, and then Halliburton? If Halliburton can give me a 20-10 game with no turnovers, that means that everybody else is rolling. And I love that about Indiana. So I think that Indiana being home, their rotation players are going to be the difference in this game.
Right. Chill. If like, cause you how you brought up, you said you're conceding that Cat matchup. If I'm Tibbs tonight, I'm not only looking for you to concede that matchup, but I'm looking for you to completely regret conceding that matchup. I mean, as soon as the ball tips up, nobody shoots the ball but Cat for the first
you're going after him.
5 minutes.
You're wasting no time.
I'm talking about as soon as we touch that ball. I'm talking about first 5 minutes. Nobody touches the ball.
Go after him.
Nobody. No, y'all not touches the ball. Nobody shoots the ball besides Karl Anthony Towns for the first 5 minutes of this basketball game. I'm talking about in this first quarter, Cat, you got 24. like how Ron said that Cat needs to average 35 and 15. Like I know I disagreed with that, but I'm talking about tonight is going to be the game of your life, Cat. You are going to blow this thing wide open. Cat, we need 55 from you. You know what I mean? 60. Go crazy. I want you to terrorize this team. Nobody shoots but Cat for the first 5 minutes of the game. We're dumping it to the big fella. If you got the ball up top, we spread out, go. You get the ball on the block, I'm cutting through. You on the island, go. You catch him right there on that mid-range. You catch a small guy on you, boom, punish him, go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. We're going straight to it.
Are we looking at a Shaquille O'Neal Game 6 Western Conference Finals where Shaq came to those guys and said before the game, bring it to me?
Yes.
I'm the guy tonight.
Just like this. Come on. We riding the big fella. Come on, right here. And all Cat got to do is just get up on that horse and just get down the court, run, ride right here. Come on, get to your spot. We no rush. We're not rushing in. Get to your spot, big fella here. You want it there? You want it? Boom. Now move out the way. Cut through. Mikal, spot up, get ready to shoot. JB, spot up, get ready to shoot. OG, cut. Mitch, get your hands up, ready to rebound. You know what I'm saying? And when that shot goes up, JB, you get back. You know what I'm saying? Get back, stop anything, do what you can. But we riding the big fella until the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? Just straight punishment. That's the type of time I'm on tonight. That's what I'm looking for. And I hope that's what Tibbs is on.
Well, when you got your star, I mean, you already got your star in Brunson, but when you got a mismatch, which clearly is Cat and Turner, that's clearly been a mismatch. I feel like he's completely outplayed Turner this entire series. If that means that, Cat, we don't need a big performance from you. We need an all-time performance from you tonight. If that's what that means, then bet I'll do it. Okay. If you need 40 from me tonight, and if I gotta go, if I gotta shoot the ball 35 times, I will. No problem. If I gotta get on that glass, if I gotta pull down 13, 15 rebounds, I will. If that's what that means tonight, because we are facing elimination, right? Let's make sure we clear on that. Now, I know that we want to get other guys involved, and I know that we want to play pick and pop, pick and dive, but I can promise you, like, if I'm OG Anunoby, if I'm Mikal Bridges, I'm saying to Cat, big fella, can you score the rest of the points? Yes. I'm going to play defense. We're going to play defense. We're going to stop these guys. You score the points. I'll get points here and there, but we riding you tonight, big fella. We jumping on your back. You taking us home.
Chill, because I mean, Mitchell Robinson, there is no getting back on D. Mitchell Robinson, you want every offensive rebound every time. You're not like, don't worry about getting back on D. JB, you get back. Mikal, you get back. But OG and Mikal specifically, like on the defensive end, they need to rebound. That's what they need to do. They need to rebound and play defense. Cat, score every point. That's what your mind needs to be, Cat. Score every point. Obviously, it's not going to happen. Obviously, JB going to get his. And, there's going to be other things that happen. But, Cat, I need you to score 50% of the points. Chill. I'm talking crazy talk right now.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about with 110. I need 50 of those 110 from you.
Let's go, big fella. It's on you. Like, nobody over there can stop him, and he needs to make sure that he asserts that type of dominance. Because when you assert that kind of dominance on the game 6, they're gonna come into Madison Square already like, whoo, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he
again.
Yeah, but now you come into Madison Square, and like I said, you're gonna need a military escort to get to the building anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they go to Game 7, you see how the New Yorkers was tripping just to get here. Game 7 after going down 3-1,
it'll be a riot.
Them dudes gonna be tripping.
It'll be a riot, Ox.
Chill. They like all the bridges in New York might be. I don't even know how they're gonna get there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a riot. They won't let y'all out of there with a win.
They might got to play in Philly or something. They might even be able to play in New York.
You 100% got a chance going back home, but I still, again, Ox, I still feel like all the heat is on. I still feel like all the heat is on Indiana. I'm not Indiana, the Knicks. I feel like Indiana, they want to make this game out of control. If you think about what happened in Game 5, they held Indiana to I think under 100 or barely over 100. Indiana wants this game 125, 120, 127, 122. They want the game out of control. And the reason why they want the game out of control is because that's their style of play. That's what, and it's a controlled chaos offense for the Indiana Pacers. And I think that if they can get that, and I think that if they can keep that kind of pace, I think they got a real shot in winning tonight. But to your point, when you talk when you talk about Cat in particular, that's got to be the mindset. I'm taking us there. I'll get us there.
Yeah,
I will get us there
for sure. Yeah, well, that's it's gonna be a good game tonight. Once again, like I said, y'all, you can catch me and Chill on playback. Y'all know where to be. Game 6, man. Everything's on the table for the Knicks right now, y'all. I got Knicks in 7. But let's get to the lobby. Let's see what the listeners, let's see what the viewers got to say about this. Let's start with somebody. My man, he calling in from Cancun. With the rest of the Laker media cartel, the bunch of bums they are. I got my man Desto in the lobby. Let's see what Desto got for us. Desto, what up, fam?
What up?
What up, fellas?
What up?
Long time no see. What up, Ox? What up, OG?
What up?
It was good.
Hey, so I had a question for you. So I seen your I think your TikTok the other day, and you spoke on it this episode too, and you said the Knicks built their team to beat Boston, but not to win the championship.
Yeah,
I felt that was kind of interesting. So what do you think that they missing, or what do they need to add or subtract in order to actually be a championship team?
So if you look at the way championship teams are put together, so you got your elite perimeter, you got your elite perimeter scoring, that's Brunson, right? You got your elite big man, and that's Cat. You need 8-9 guys in order to win it. For what Denver did, I feel like that was an anomaly when they only went with 7 guys, right? When they went with 7 guys, that was an anomaly. You're going to need 8, 9, maybe even 10 guys to win it. And I think that's where the Knicks find themselves in space where they're in trouble, because when they run up on a team like the Indiana Pacers, who have 9, 10 guys, and they play as fast as they play, and they wear you down, it's difficult to get prepared for something like that when you only play 6, 7 guys. And don't get me wrong, I feel like the Knicks have dug into their bench, but I feel like this bench that they've dug into, as good as it could have been, as good as it's been, it could have been much better if it was more consistent throughout the course of the year. And I think that that's a Tibbs issue. So when I say that this team isn't built to win the NBA championship, that's also a coaching thing too. Because when you don't dig into your bench and you don't use your personnel properly, what you're doing is you're hampering your unit. And I feel like Coach Tibbs has hampered his unit throughout the course of this year, where he's only played 6, 7 guys. He's had 3 guys throughout the course of this year that's in the top 5 in the league in minutes. That means that I'm not playing other people. Now, I can expect a team like the Boston Celtics, who I was very high on. I can expect that style of play to flame out. I can expect that. But when you play a team like the Indiana Pacers, well, if I'm only playing 6, 7 guys, I can't expect them to start slowing down if they got 9, 10 guys. I can't expect that, because what's going to happen is my rebounding is going to suffer. My defense is going to suffer because I don't have the personnel to continuously contend with that. I don't have enough guys. And when you don't use your personnel properly, you're not built to win it. And I think that goes to coaching, which is part of building your unit.
Yeah. I was just gonna mention that because I agree with you. I think they bench is solid, at least like, talent and personnel wise, but that's Tibbs' track record to only play like, 5, 6, 7 guys, even in the regular season and in the playoffs. So do you think like going forward, can like the Knicks expect him to adjust that, or he just a dude stuck in his ways? And because I mean, like, or would they have to move off for him? Because I mean, this is the furthest like the Knicks been in, I don't know,
25 years.
forever how long.
25 years.
And they're a couple games away from the NBA Finals right now.
Sure.
So do you move off this coach, or do you invest more into your bench to get him to
I think
want
Tibbs
to
got it. I
go
think
deep?
Tibbs is a damn good coach, man. I watched him out coach JB Bickerstaff. I watched him out coach a number of different coaches. He can coach his ass off. He's just so damn stubborn. I think that's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
He's just so damn stubborn when he has things at his disposal and he doesn't use them consistently. When you only playing 6, 7 guys, and then we get to the playoffs and you got a lineup of Wright and Hart and Hart, lineups that he's never played throughout the course of the season, and now you're playing these lineups. That's not good. I don't feel like that's good at all, right? So, I mean, when I'm watching Tibbs, I think he can coach. I just think he's so damn stubborn, and I think that that's something that if we could sit down and we could discuss whether you can get these guys to whether you can get these other guys to play more. I think that that'd be a lot better for his team. Because I'm looking at this Knicks team, and I know in terms of rotation, Desto, if I know that I'm not going to play tonight, it's hard to consistently stay ready when every night I'm not sure if I'm going to play. As opposed to when we got 9, 10 guys, whether I'm getting 10 minutes tonight or 25 minutes, I know I'm going to play. So I'm prepared for that. And I think it's difficult playing for a guy like Tibbs when you don't know when you're so unsure.
Agreed. I don't want to take too much time. I just want to ask that question, but I appreciate y'all letting me on.
Yep.
Hey, real quick though, Ox, what WNBA demon you taking tonight? It's
I'm
only
about
one
to post that
game.
in about 45 minutes.
All right, that's
Already, matter of fact, I think I already picked them today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I picked them already. I just didn't make the video yet, but I got some good ones though.
All right, cool. Appreciate y'all.
I think I'll definitely take Angel Reese rebounds. I think she got to get 14.
I think it was the regular line was like 12 and a half.
Yeah, but it got to be a demon. So
Sure.
Up it. All right, Desto. Yeah. Chill. I'm off of Tibbs, man.
You out?
I'm so out on Tibbs. I'm so out on Tibbs. Especially when you got Mike Malone, Mike Brown, in Coach. I always do Taylor. What's his name? Taylor Jenkins.
Taylor Jenkins is
got,
available.
And then there's other coaches. Man, I'm just out on Tibbs.
Rick Vogel, Dan Hurley.
With that being said, though, chill. I think, and I don't mean any disrespect by this. It's just that I think Tibbs kind of is like stuck in the old school mindset, which can work maybe like in high school and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know if he's made for this NBA anymore. And that's no knock on Tibbs. I still think Tibbs is a great coach. It's just I think the game is passing him up. That's all. And to you, it's just the stubbornness. You know what I mean?
That's like, what it is for me.
I can't understand how this team went down 3-1. I think this team, like I said before on the panel, I think this team is far superior as far as talent level. And for them to go down 3-1 to the Pacers, which I think the Pacers are a good team, and Rick Carlisle's coaching his ass off, but they should have never went down 3-1 to this team, not this team. I just can't get with that. Next though, we got Rock Out Deuce.
What's up, fellas?
What up?
So, man, I was watching KG Certified earlier, right? And Paul Pierce, he had a trade scenario. Usually, I don't listen to Paul Pierce because he'll say some bullshit, but this trade kind of had me thinking. Now, it's a big risk to it though. Sending Joel Embiid to the Timberwolves for Rudy Gobert.
We talked about that.
And Nas Reed, because Nas Reed want to be a starter. That's where he'll get his starter money. And I think the Sixers will have a good rebuild. You'll have Jared McCain, Tyrese Maxey. Still got to find a way to get rid of Paul George, but I don't think it's a way. You'll get Nas Reed at the 4 and Rudy at the 5. And I think that'd be a good little team. If you can trade Paul George, I would do it just for a lot of vets to build around that team, and not to mention they got that 3rd pick, so they can get Ace Bailey in that starting lineup too. I think that would be a good rebuild. And I think that'd be good for Minnesota as well. The problem is
you're not chill. I'm already on the Deuce. I'm on the Deuce. I see what he's doing. He's trying to get Minnesota out the way for Memphis.
No,
because this will be ridiculous, and that would bro, no way, you can't do that. Joel Embiid might. I don't want to say that, but Joel Embiid, come on, they talk about breaking this man hip for his knee. Like, nah, man, we're not trading for Joel Embiid. No way. Nobody can trade for Joel Embiid right now. Not right now. No way.
How they gonna get rid of him though? Ox,
we got to see him play first. We got to see him play.
We got to go.
We got to see him play, and we got to see how he holds up. That's the only way that we can work this out.
I call that just doing bad business. And I can't, if I do business in bad faith, that's gonna come back on me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm out here selling limit, y'all seen Matilda. If I'm selling cars like Matilda's daddy or something, out here just selling terrible lemons, you can't just be giving people Joel in this condition.
He broken. He broke.
So I tell you what's worse, the KD trade or that trade?
That trade, 100%.
That trade is way worse.
Yeah.
Not only because Joel Embiid just signed an extension. I think Rudy still got some years left, some good years left. Because Rudy's 32. Yeah, I think Rudy's got some real good years left. Joel Embiid, can he even run? Can he run?
I don't know, man. Hey, shit, when he was on Team USA, he could. I don't.
That man, what?
It looked tricky, yo. It looked really tricky. What I mean when I say it looked tricky, when he did run, you 100% were wondering, when is he gonna fall and break something? You were worried about that, because I know I was. Every time he ran, when he went down the gut and ended up punching it and fell, I was like, oh no, because I thought he might have broke something.
Now, chill. If you look at it as a way, like, okay, Ant's still young, J-Mac's still young. We bring Joel over here, and he don't play this season. We just get him right. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it may be, we get the proper procedure, surgery, whatever he needs, go in and clean out some stuff, whatever it may be, and you rest him and you just get him in the gym.
I'm just asking Joel to be a second option. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking him to be the man in Philly no more.
Well, no, but he can't be nothing this season. I'm talking about from what they're saying, the medical reports. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
he can't be nothing right now. So that's why I say stay away from him. But if you're willing to trade for him and stash him for a year, let him go through the proper stuff, and maybe the season after that, if he's healthy, then shit, this is a championship level basketball team, 100%. Because Joel Embiid is that good. But I'm scared. I'm actually concerned for Joel. I don't think Joel should have had his ass in France playing basketball last summer.
You said that.
I'm concerned with Joel Embiid, y'all, and I've been concerned. This ain't even no hater shit. This isn't me trying to be funny. This is me being concerned with him.
Nah, we all worried.
Well-being. You know what I'm saying?
His knees are bleeding when he's playing basketball. That's not regular.
Ox said this last summer. What they did with Kawhi Leonard, what they did with Kawhi Leonard, the next day we was on the panel. Ox said, "Why the hell is Joel Embiid still there? Why is he still there?"
Exactly what I said. Why? And
that
so
was the first thing he said. If Leonard is gone, and we knew why Leonard was gone, Ox the next day was like, "Okay, why is Joel Embiid still here? He need to be out of there too."
Yeah, man. It's another scenario I seen just real quick because I know y'all got to go. I don't agree with it as a Memphis fan because it's not the player, it's the money. They talking about trying to get Jaylen Brown. I'm not willing to pay Jaylen Brown $50 million.
For who?
Are you willing to pay?
Who would have to lead?
Bane, and it's not gonna be straight up. It'll have to be Bane and somebody else. But Bane, he's the big person that got to go on Memphis. And I don't really agree with paying Jaylen Brown $50 million. But how y'all feel about it?
You ain't feeling paying Jaylen Brown $50 million, but you paying Desmond Bane $42 million.
I don't agree with that neither. I don't.
And he better than Desmond Bane, by the way.
A lot better.
Oh yeah. That's no doubt. No doubt.
And you got Desmond Bane at 4 more years. I think he just signed an extension too. He got 4 more years on his deal. No player op, no player op, no team op. He's guaranteed 4 more years on your crew. I mean, he's better than Desmond Bain. The money you might not like the money. Would you like him at the same money for Jaylen Brown? I mean, I'm sorry, for Desmond Bain.
I look at Jaylen Brown like Jaylen Brown like a 38 mil, 37 mil guy.
Like, what do you think about Jaylen Brown as a 2 guard? Like, in terms of 2 guards in the league, how many 2 guards in the league you think are better than him?
So let me see. You got D. Mitch, you got Ant, you got Devin Booker.
Mm-hmm.
He in that top 5 category.
So what's the problem?
It's that fucking money, man. I just don't like them. That's a lot of money. If I got Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson sitting back making 30 million, I got Jaylen Brown making 50 million. I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
Well, you getting ready to pay Jaren Jackson anyway. You got lucky because he didn't make the All-Pro team, so you ain't got to go
lucky as hell.
Yeah, you ain't got to go up to 350. So you good with that. So,
yeah.
All right, brother.
All right,
y'all fellas. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I would do that if that was possible.
I would too. 100%. If I could get Jaylen Brown for Desmond Bain, I'm doing that. Hell yeah, I'm doing that. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm doing that.
I don't see him in Memphis. So I think Jaylen Brown would probably end up more in Atlanta or Houston before Memphis. But we'll see.
What I see, Ox? I see him in Boston because if I'm Boston, I ain't breaking these 2 dudes up. Don't call me asking for Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Don't call me. Them dudes are not available. No, they not.
Just don't play with us like that.
You just hung the phone up on me when I told you about KD. I'm hanging the phone up on you when you call about Jaylen Brown. Nope, he ain't available.
That's my sentiment. Yo, Tex, what up? Tex not here. Okay, let me see who's next.
We had him. Nope, we had him.
Oh, we did. 907 Iceman. We got Iceman. What up, Iceman?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. You hot?
Yeah, we got you.
Man, I became a recent fan of the Player's Choice and all that. So this pretty cool that I actually got a chance to actually talk to you guys. So I guess my question I could say is I thought Indiana had a chance to beat Oklahoma City, a chance, until I watched Game 5. And seeing how Mikal Bridges pretty much put Halliburton in hell with the full court press, I thought Lou Dort and Alex Caruso are going to do the same thing, if not worse, and they can just switch if one of them gets tired. So I'll think at this point, I think Indiana's lucky if they can even win a game. So my question is there a team out there that you can actually see competing with Oklahoma City next year when they get better? All those players are going to get better. Shea's going to get better. Chet's going to get better. I mean, I don't really see it right now. Maybe Dallas.
Is there a team? Yes. I think Dallas is going to be much better next year. I think Houston's going to be much better next year too. Especially with that defense that they have. Minnesota's going to be back next year, depending on what they do in terms of retooling. I think that they're going to get better. But as far as Oklahoma City, barring any health issues, I mean, I especially the way that they play, I mean, they look like they're going to be around for a while. They do. They look like they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah, I believe they'll probably be around for a while too.
Yeah,
but you got to just wait and see what moves get made in the offseason. Once we see like how everybody revamps their roster and gets ready, then I'll be able to for sure say. But either way, OKC is going to be contenders again next year. They're going to be dangerous again next year. They're going to be just as good on defense again next year. Shea, I don't know about Shea getting better, but he's not going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Right. Unless I wouldn't assume so. I don't like to just assume that everybody's going to get better because some people do reach their peaks at different times. I don't know, but I would assume this team is going to be at least just as good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm trying to just be patient and let's see. It'll be easier to call come September when everybody's rosters are more settled in.
And I'd like to see this Denver team against Oklahoma City less beat up. Because I think they gave Oklahoma City all that they can handle. I think Oklahoma City got let off the hook in Game 4. I think that if Denver wins that game, the series is over. We're not coming back to Oklahoma City. I think the series is done. I mean, I not coming back to Oklahoma City, not coming back to Denver. I think the series is done. I think they would have ended it in 5. I think it would have been over. So I feel like this Denver team, and they're going to be back next year. It doesn't look like they are doing anything with their core. So I think that they're going to be back next year. They're going to be trouble. If they could have stayed healthier instead of what they were, I think that they can give Oklahoma City a run for their money.
Right. I'm surprised they let MPJ back on the plane with how he played, but I digress.
Well, that wasn't his fault, though. I mean, he shouldn't even been out there. He shouldn't even been out there. You can't put that on him. No, he shouldn't have been.
No.
I wouldn't have. If MPJ would have said, I can't go, I would have had no problem with that. He could barely lift his arm. And the fact that he went out there, that's enough for me. That is enough for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think he was more of a hindrance. If I could have one more point, I'm a Bulls fan, but I refuse to acknowledge that team until the owner retires or goes with the Lord. I refuse at this point. So I pay attention to the Warriors more because Steph Curry is kind of my favorite player, and I have to think, which big man should they like go after? Like like a kid with chocolate cake. I would think it's Gafford. They just need a jump. They need a vertical big, just someone tall.
You ever think that maybe your big man is in the draft? You see, Miami found their big guy in the draft. I mean, what I don't understand is I don't understand why everything with the Bulls over the course of the last 3 years has been a quick fix. When Lonzo went down, that was the beginning of the end. So now you got.
I agree. I'm speaking about the Warriors because the Bulls I'm ignoring because I have no confidence in that front office. I'm thinking the Warriors since they're trying to do one more push with Steph Curry because he still make All Pro at 37. He's going to turn 38. He might get a little worse, or he might just have another crazy resurgence, crazy 50, 40, 90 shooting spree again. And who knows how
that crew. I think Porzingis looks great with that crew. I love Porzingis with that crew. Yep. And
it's worth. Sure, they got to get off Porzingis too, right?
Yes, they do. I love.
Yeah,
I love Porzingis with that crew. Him or Laurie Marketing, but Marketing's money might be too much. But Porzingis, yes.
I don't see how the money even matches up with. I'd have to think about or look up how the money would even work because they're paying Jimmy, I think, a lot of money.
60. Him and Curry on the books for 120 next year. Just them two alone. Yes,
that's
just them two alone.
So if you, there's some pieces they want to get rid of.
Of course they do.
Definitely. All right, Iceman. Appreciate you, Phil.
All right, brother.
Nice talk.
Oh, my bad, bro. Appreciate you. Okay, who we got? Okay, I think Texas back.
Texas,
what up?
Yo, we live?
You hot.
Yes, sir. What's going on? Long time. All right. I'm gonna do this very quick. I'm gonna lose. Yo. All right. Adam Silver, real quick. Adam Silver, you had one fucking job. You hear me? One job. You had the best storyline going. The biggest trade in the offseason, right? Between Julius Randle and Cat, right? You had Tibbs going against his former teammates, right? With Cat, right? I mean with Julius Randle, right? You had Anthony Edwards, who obviously you've seen that they've been putting on the campaigns with the commercials, things of that nature, going against New York, talking his shit. First of all, he was collecting all the Infinity Stones, LeBron James, blah, 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 all the greats, right? And you could have capped it off with the New York getting a championship against the New York Knicks. Adam Silver, you have a storybook lineup, my brother. And now we're about to watch. Now, here's my thing, Chill. I'm conflicted because I think with Indiana and OKC, we're about to watch great basketball. This is about to be elite.
Awesome.
Like,
hold on, Tex. This series is not over yet.
Bro, slow. It's cooked. And let's get hold on. Chill. Now, remember when you heard the Halliburton things first, all right, brother? Point guard. Best point guard. I don't know what anybody understand what a point guard is. I've been hearing this lately, real quick. I'm sorry, I'm going on a little side quest. I've been hearing, a point guard is supposed to create advantages for themselves and for their teammates. No, that's not the job of a point guard. You can go in a dictionary and they'll tell you what a point guard is. To run the offense.
Tex, I vividly remember a conversation we had where you told me that his floor was Steve Nash, and I about jumped through the screen on you.
And what do we see?
I about jumped through the screen.
Wait, Tex, we still don't agree with that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. 32.
8, 6, and 2.
No,
hear me out. No, but I did. What I did say though, Acho, was, and I did say He does need to work on his shot creation, which we're seeing leaves him
He got
bounds,
better.
right? He got better, right? He's able to cradle guys. He's able to keep guys on his hip, right? A little bit better. And I said, so in my opinion, his shot profile is going to be, in my opinion, is going to be Kevin Martin and Steph Curry like. It's not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna be very orthodox. It's going to be, and a lot of people don't remember, Steph developed his layup package going into the rim. Steph was not this guy that was going into the lane, going whoopsie daisy. No, he was very floater. He was very oopsie daisy. He wasn't going through contact, none of that. So everybody laughing about the Steve Urkel layups that Hallie does. Trust me, it's gonna get better. But like I said, the best point guard in the league is Halliburton. Best point guard, y'all. Best point. Clears Brunson. On top of that, too, I'm gonna say this, Joe. Brunson is sabotaging his teammates by the way that he plays. Dribbling the ball for 15 minutes in the shot clock, and you expect OG Anunoby to shot create? Have you seen the way he shot create his isolation?
I'm still trying to figure out, though, Tex, what does this have to do with Adam Silver? How does Adam Silver control this? Hear me out, though,
Chill. Hear me out, though, Chill. Hear me out. My point is, Adam Silver, yo, you have Scott Foster. You got a couple of good referees that's known for extending things.
Wait a second, Tex. We cannot advocate for referee tampering. We cannot advocate for that, Tex. No way. I am because I am a victim, a survivor of referee tampering. I take that very seriously, brother. I can't get with that. In fact, Tex, I'm gonna need you to make a point, brother, because we're gonna have to get you up out of here.
Yeah, no. I will say this though.
Referee tampering, Tex, is that what you came here to push?
I'm not going for it. But I mean, we have gambling at this point, so it is what it is. But I will say this though, Joe. I think the NBA is not it's clearly invested into just rebuilding the NBA. Obviously, we're going to NBC. The marketing is going to be completely different. So I think parity will be in this generation. I think you said something like that, where parity will be the calling card of this generation. I don't think the NBA cares about big markets anymore. I think they're especially with this big TV deal, you can turn any franchise at this point into a household name if you put the right marketing into it. You know what I mean? Building storylines, storytelling. And I think the NBC move is going to do that. They're going to be a lot of original snows, original content. So I think that's where the NBA is going to. They don't care about big markets no more. But fellas, you already know it's a good vibe.
All right.
You know the vibes, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk in the finals. We'll talk during the finals.
Absolutely.
All right, Tex.
Yes, sir.
It's easy. It sounds like it's easier to market smaller markets. That's what it sounds like Tex is saying. It's easier to market smaller markets. Like it's not what it was, 10 years ago, 15 years ago when you were trying to promote Oklahoma City, because mass media has changed tremendously. I can see that to the point. I can see that to a point, but we still need to push these stars, because that's where these small markets are going to become even bigger markets if we continue to push these stars and make them more household names. And I think the NBA is trying to do that. They just picking the wrong people. They picked Zion. Nope. They picked Ja. Nope. I mean, they're trying to do it with Anthony Edwards. So, I mean, they're trying. It's not like they're not trying.
Yeah, I agree. One thing, though, just can't advocate for Steve, for Adam Silver making phone calls to tamper with the games, man.
I'm not with that. I'm good. now we're turning the league into the WWF. That's what we're doing.
Man. Let me get my man Cowboy Bob up to the stage. What's up, Cowboy?
Go New York. What's up, guys? Real quick, I just want to let you know something, Bob. You said earlier that Jalen Brunson will never be better than Melo. I agree with you, but there's a stat out there that most people don't talk about. Jalen Brunson is one of the few in the playoffs with 14 games to score 30 or more points. That's with Shaq. That's with Kobe. That's with Allen Iverson. That's with a lot of greats. So they may use that as an argument as far as playoffs. And he has done better.
There's no stat that would sway my thought process of Melo being better than Jalen Brunson. It's not.
I agree with you, but I'm preparing you for what might happen, because there are stats out there that people will use against you. But you good. And also,
I appreciate you helping me be prepared, Cowboy, but don't worry about it, bro.
Also, when I said that 20 and 10, when I made that super chat about 20 and 10, I was trying to say he's in Joker's class. Joker is the teacher of what every center should be in the league. Him doing the 20 and 10,
he's the student in the class. So he's in the class, but he's sitting down.
He's sitting down taking notes. He's taking notes,
I got
trying to get better. That's all I was trying to say.
Okay.
Because that's all I was saying. And another thing that I wanted to say is what nobody has really talked about, this Knicks team has hope because of the physicality due to Brunson and Cat getting to the rack. If you look at how they worn down the Pacers, look at how they worn them down the last few games. The Pacers barely again enough guys. They had to use the whole bench. And on top of that, also, you said that Tibbs don't rest his guys. Last game, 36 minutes was the max that any player played, and it was Cat. I think Cat.
Imagine that. Hey, Cowboy, you're not coming up here with that bullshit with me with Tibbs. He been running them dudes to the ground all year. Now all of a sudden he's digging in the bench. Now all of a sudden he's digging in the bench, and he's now playing these guys.
No. What I'm saying is, he should have been
doing that.
What I'm saying is, it's not 100% anymore. It's at 80. It's still high, but it ain't that high because we're gonna be talking. Let's be real. When we won the 2 games, both our benches in both games had more than 4 players with 10 minutes. That's all I'm trying to say. So he's trying it. I'm not saying it's something new, but at least we got to give him credit for that adjustment. I think if the Knicks just attack the Pacers, we are good. And also that if we do win tonight, which I think we will, they have proven themselves that they are not the New York Knicks that everyone else sees them as. This is a beast of a team. Thanks, guys. I know you guys got to run, but I just want to say that go New York, go New York, go. Let's get it tonight, baby.
Knicks in 7, y'all. Knicks in 7. Classic. What up?
Yo, what up, guys?
Yeah, what up?
As an Anthony Edwards fan, for this offseason, I don't want KD. I don't want De'Aaron Fox. I don't think any of those guys make the Timberwolves better. What I want them to do, because I really think
Classic, how De'Aaron don't make the team better?
I just think De'Aaron is not really a winner, so I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it, honestly. I'd rather get a big.
What is De'Aaron Fox done besides get cooked by Steph Curry in Game 7, which everybody.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I only know De'Aaron Fox to have that one good year where they were lighting the beam and they still got to that in the first round.
Real quick though. Let me ask my question. So I'm curious to know, what has De'Aaron Fox done to show you that he's not a winner? I mean, like, is it the style of play, or is it because that we didn't go far in the playoffs in Sacramento? Because I don't know if that's necessarily a De'Aaron Fox problem, or if that's like a roster construction issue.
Well, my thing is, Alex, you don't know what the issue is, so I wouldn't take a risk on De'Aaron Fox because he hasn't shown me anything that could help the Timberwolves. I don't think him and Anthony Edwards gives them like an extra boost.
What did Drew Holiday show you? What did Drew Holiday show you to suggest that he could help Milwaukee? Because he hadn't won before he got to Milwaukee.
What did he show? He had that series against Dame where he played great defense.
Yeah,
I mean, and he just showed that he was a good defender and a two-way player. I mean,
De'Aaron Fox was awesome against the Warriors. De'Aaron Fox was awesome against the Warriors. He wasn't good against them. He was awesome against them. He broke his hand. If he doesn't break his hand, I think that's a different series.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it. I think they need a big, and I think that if they can try to get Luke Cornett, I think that would help Anthony Edwards a lot.
You and this Luke Cornett shit. What am I missing, man?
No, because I think Ant needs like a big that can actually improve his playmaking. And Rudy Gobert, I think I'm actually impressed with what Anthony Edwards did this season because they wasn't supposed to be here. And the carry job that he did this year, it just shows his growth. And I think that the Timberwolves got to do everything they can
to
make him get to that next level.
Why wasn't Minnesota supposed to be here? What about Minnesota suggested that they weren't supposed to be here? They had a good ass team.
Because I told y'all early in the year, if they wouldn't have traded Cat, they would have been the number 1 seed. That what OKC is doing, that would have been Minnesota this year if they hadn't traded Cat.
No way.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think
you're telling me Cat that got the Knicks to the conference finals.
Cat
he stays on Minnesota. They don't run through the West.
They don't run through the West like that. No, they're not. And the reason why they're not running through the West like that, one, Cat has shown this season when he's on that Knicks team how much different, how much better Rudy Gobert, who you don't give nearly enough credit to, is for him. How much better he is for him. That's number one. Number two, the growth of Jaden McDaniels. Does that happen with Cat on the crew?
Yes, it does.
Are you sure?
I'm definitely sure. Because
part of their offense, right? He is young, but part of their offense, in fact, a huge part of their offense would have been Cat. You think that Anthony Edwards is shooting that many threes this year if Cat's on the crew? No, he's not doing that.
I don't think he's shooting that many threes, but that may be a good thing because he may not have to shoot that many threes because Cat is on the floor. So now he can attack the basket and give Cat and Jaden McDaniels easier looks.
100%.
I mean, chill. They were a 3 seed last year. So what makes you believe they wouldn't have got even better this year?
Well, if they are better this year, the Oklahoma City Thunder were 2 seed last. I'm sorry, they were Oklahoma City was the 1 seed last year, and they got better. What does Minnesota do to jump them? How much better they got on the perimeter? The only thing that I could possibly think of that could have catapulted Minnesota was the fact that Oklahoma City had gotten injured, but that didn't seem to hamper them at all. They still were rolling with SGA in the lineup, still.
But that's easy to say that because Minnesota didn't have Cat. If Cat would have been there, as I mentioned, it would have been Minnesota that won 68 games this year. Because Ant made a big league. He became the best 3-point shooter in the league, which is what allowed him to carry this team to the conference finals.
He wouldn't have done that with Cat. He wouldn't have done that with Cat being available though, because now that's more offense that has to go to Cat. More offense and more of a defensive liability. Who Cat was now that's on the crew. Julius Randle isn't great as a defender neither. I'm not going to argue that point. No, I'm not. But what I am going to say is that crew. What Anthony Edwards was doing, what Jaden McDaniels was doing, Naz Reid. Do I see the growth of that guy? I don't know if I see the growth of that guy. If Cat is still there, I'm not sure.
I disagree.
68 wins is a lot of wins.
68 wins is a lot of wins.
But if we can't get Cornette, I was looking at this little trade maker thing, and I'm thinking that they should try to do like trade Rudy Gobert and their first round pick for DeAndre Ayton, and I think that Anthony Edwards could light a fire in DeAndre Ayton.
I don't hate that and
make him one of the best bigs in the league. And I think that would be the move that puts them over the top. Yeah, and I think that trade will work too. But I think that I don't think Portland would want Rudy, which is why I think they should attack some draft picks. But I really want them to try to do that. Rudy,
you'll lose a lot defensively with Ayton. I think a lot defensively you'll lose, but offensively I do think that you'll get better. You'll get 18 and 10 from him. That's 100%. But defensively you're going to suffer. So
yeah, that's the move I wanted to make this year. And then real quick, man, y'all gassing this Liberty team. The Minnesota Lynx are the best team in the league.
No, we not.
Fiza's the best player in the world. She's going to win all the awards this year.
No, she is not. She is not better than Asia Wilson.
She is definitely better than Asia. She's a better offensive player and a better defensive player.
Hell no.
All right. Well, that's Dub Classic. Appreciate you pulling up, fam.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got a couple. So, shit, real quick. Give me one more second. Stacks, what's up, bro?
I feel cold, bro.
What's up?
Why I always gotta be last, bro? Now Clay about to kick me off the show. Like, come on, man.
You not last, bro. I'll let you up here, bro. I got more people in the lobby. I decided to let you get up here and speak your piece. I could have, you know what I'm saying? Shit, you ain't the only one waiting in line.
All right, man. But listen, let me say, I sound funny. I got these fucking bananas in my mouth. But listen, man. Bob, we not giving Tibbs no fucking credit, bro. He's fucking ass, bro. Like, I don't know what's wrong with chill. I see what you mean. I don't like Knicks fans either, bro. I don't like these Knicks fans, bro. And it's the age group. It's like 40 and up. So I'm sure you know a lot of them. I'm sure you met a lot of them during your lifetime. So I understand why you feel how you feel. Because now I'm hopping in this YouTube space, and I'm starting to meet a lot of these guys, bro. Like, Cameron said it best on his show the other day. I'm from New York, bro. New York people, they don't want to hear logic, bro. They don't want to hear logic, bro. So, and
you say going one end out the other. They ain't even listening.
Yeah, bro. And you got Knicks fans. Like Cam said it. He said it perfectly, bro. Like, I know people. He said he was arguing with his man who's a Knicks fan. He said he told him he don't want to be right now. He don't want to be right now. Like, so you have Knicks fans like they really delusional, bro. So I understand how you feel.
Oh, man.
But yeah,
Stacks, you just want to talk hoops. That's it. You don't want to.
Yeah, but I just want to talk.
Let's talk basketball.
Like, what we can't do that on the court, bro. Like, none of the politics shit, none of the made up shit, bro. New York fans are just crazy, bro. Some of them.
Oh my goodness. You just want to talk hoops. God.
But yeah, bro, and Bob, bro, like Tibbs is ass, bro. Like he out.
That's what
I don't know, bro.
That's what I said.
Last time I spoke to y'all when we played the Celtics. And Joe Mazzulla, oh my gosh, bro, he did so much of a bad job. That's the only reason he outcoached Joe Mazzulla. Like he's outcoached the bad coach. I don't know what the fuck, bro. But Tibbs is ass, bro. And Carlisle is running circles around him. He's the only reason they're down 3-2 right now. They are better than the Pacers, bro. They are much better than the Pacers. They should have won this series 4-1. 4-1, bro. They are better than the Pacers, bro.
Well, ain't that what I said? Ain't that what I said though?
Because of the coach, bro. The only reason, bro. He
Stacks,
refuses to play guys like DeLon Wright.
Ain't that what I said, Stacks?
Yeah, bro. He refuses to play guys like DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet. I didn't like Landry Shamet in the beginning of the season either, but he's played all smack at the end of the season, Landry Shamet. And DeLon Wright played all smack at the end of the season too. So it was no reason. The only reason I'm a diehard Knicks fan, y'all. So it hurts to say this, but we don't deserve to win, bro. And Tibbs doesn't deserve to win.
Before the series started, Stacks, Ox and I was having a conversation. Before the series even started, Ox and I was having a conversation about the series, and Ox was telling me, I don't even know why we having a conversation about the Knicks and the Pacers. They should smoke these dudes.
Oh my!
I was trying to figure out where Ox was coming. I'm like, Ox, what am I looking at? What am I missing? Because Ox was looking at these dudes like, yo, they should straight run right by Indiana in 4 or 5 games. Tops. That's what he was telling me. And now here we are. We got a game 6 tonight, and it's gonna get real tricky. It's real tricky. I already know how you feel, but Stacks, I already know how you feel about Tibbs, though. I'm
yeah, for sure. But all right, Stacks, I do got to get going. Shit, appreciate you pulling up and shit. Yeah, I think y'all need to get off of Tibbs too, personally.
Later,
all right, bro. Yeah, man. Tibbs ain't the best coach. I don't think. I don't know. Let's run through these super chats real quick so we can get out of here. I know my phone is going crazy. My bad, Cheerio. I got you. Let me see. 20 Hardaway says, I got an interesting trade. What if the Celtics trade Jason Tatum for Giannis? Celtics keep their window open and the Bucks can rebuild around a top 5 player when healthy. What y'all think?
No.
What do y'all think?
No. Thanks, 20. Appreciate it, brother. No.
I don't know, 20. But I think he follows up. 20 Hardaway follows up with that one, says, and to fully go all in. What if they then traded Jalen for what if they then traded Jalen for KD? Go all out for a ring. Then KD comes off the books to get them under the second apron.
This is some straight 2K shit right here. That's what this is. This is some straight 2K shit.
20.
That's what this is.
I think you might be tripping, 20. I don't know.
Yes, this is some straight 2K shit right here.
Yeah, I don't. There was just so much to unpack right there, and I know it's only just basically just 4 players moving. I don't like that for anybody. I don't like that for anybody. I think that's just a bad trade for all teams involved. All 3 times. Just don't do that, y'all. Please don't. Okay. My big fan Breezy says, if the Pacers make the finals, it is only the second time 2 NBA teams face each other for the NBA championship.
If the Pacers make the finals, it is only the second time 2 NBA teams face each other for the NBA championship.
I don't know about that, Breezy.
No, I think he's talking about, because if the Pacers make the finals, I think he's talking about expansion teams. That's what I think. I think he's talking about with the Indiana Pacers being in the ABA, and then the NBA absorbing them, and then Oklahoma City being an expansion team.
Are they an expansion team, or are they just a move team?
They expanded.
But they didn't add another team to the league, though. They just left one city and went to another city.
Correct.
But I don't know. I'm not sure, Breezy, what you meant by this one. Maybe send the chat real quick and just elaborate before we get out of here. Leaf. So Leaf didn't get to come up in hate, so he's going to do it from here. He said, let's cut the BS. The NBA don't know how to market. OKC versus Indy. That's the only reason why Indy ain't winning this series. The tampering is a real thing, and we all know it.
No, we don't know it.
So Leaf is basically guaranteeing Knicks in 6.
Or in 7.
I mean 7. I'm sorry. 7.
They don't know how to market them. I'm sure that
y'all heard it here first, man. Leaf Diggy said Knicks in 7.
The fix is in. The fix is in.
That's what you call them, right? The tangerines in 7. Okay. Well, y'all, we went over almost 15 minutes. Cheerios probably gonna reprimand me for that. but we'll be okay. We will be. Don't forget. So this evening we will be on playback. Me and Chill doing Game 6 of this series. Y'all don't want to miss that. It's gonna be a good one. I got the Knicks by 7 at least. Knicks in 7. Y'all be sure to be there. Don't miss it. In the meantime, though, y'all take care of yourself, man. Drink some water, man.
Y'all know where to find us at, guys. You know where we at. Every Thursday and Saturday. This is where we are. You can find us here. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. And if you're ever in the Portland area and you had too much to drink, call up my boy. He'll make sure that you get to where you're trying to go. So we will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light. But take it. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you guys. No doubt.
All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all soon. Like I said, on playback, we'll be on the panel on Monday, man. Love yourself and never, ever, ever, ever drink and drive, man. Catch y'all soon, man. Playback tonight. Don't miss it. Don't be late.